something. All right. Okay, so I am a little bit resistant to my own topic today, and it's not because it's a bad thing, it's just that it is one of those things where it can feel like hustle. Now, don't write it off just yet, okay? Listen to it first, and then let's scale it back so that it does not go into hustle mode. But I try to be very honest with you, and the fact of the matter is that it's not that I like hustling, it's that I am energetic. I have a lot of masculine energy, and I take great pleasure in getting things done. I love doing. I'm just one of those people who loves to do things. So today we're going to be talking about, well, it's the 90-day business sprint, which basically means that, well, it's the business architecture sprint. And that in and of itself sounds like hustle. But let me be very honest with you, my friend. I am the type of person who enjoys sprinting. I like short bursts of high intensity, and then I like to rest. I will work all summer, and then I will rest all autumn. That works for me, you know? So today, and let me tell you about what the problem is for today, or what people are experiencing, and let's see if this sounds like you. Because what I have found is that there are a lot of coaches who have been building for maybe even years, and they still don't have a basic business foundation, let alone a six-figure business foundation. It's not because they've not been working, because they've been working on everything at one time. So they've been working, but they're doing everything all at once, and it's not systematic and it's not compounding. This is my big, giant wake up call for this year. It's a huge wake up call. It's something that I have been feeling for years, or had been feeling for years. And then I got a handle on it a couple of years ago, and then I just found the word for it this year. The word is compounding. And I was like you before. I was building a whole bunch of different things, a little bit of content here. I'd put my offer out there, and then I'd do a funnel, and I would finish the funnel. And here's the thing, I would finish the funnel, but then I would bring two or three people into it. Then I'd be on to the next thing, like, oh, that didn't work. But that's not really how it's supposed to be done, I'd start working on the website. And this is the thing. I know a lot of you, because you all come to me and you have a website that is almost done, or it's a website that looks nice, but it's so freaking generic. Oh my God. The generic websites, the template, it says the same thing that everybody else says. It has a lot of words on it, and it says nothing at all. Whew. The social media strategy that you're using, it's like you start a strategy, but you can't carry it out because you took on too much, or you didn't realize how much it was going to take from you. That's problematic. Um, Having a program or an offer that's been hanging out in the background for a while, but not ever really finished, and definitely nobody's in there doing it. This is a problem. It's like a year will pass and none of what you've done is actually complete. And complete for me means that it's up and running and people are coming into it. Then you can move on. Next thing, up and running, people are coming into it, and then you can move on. But it's a process, my friend. So you have my sympathy, you have my empathy, you have my compassion. And the problem is that the business is still entirely running based on you, your efforts, no systems in place, no clear client pathway where they've gone all the way from the start to the finish, right? It's almost like you're really, really busy doing a lot of things, and it's not it's not demeaning. I don't mean to demean the things that you're doing. It's just they're not finished. And it's so easy in this world because to do one thing, like let's say you want to build a funnel, that funnel has so many steps. And it's not like, okay, I can build a funnel in a week, in a weekend. I seriously have built funnels in a weekend, complete funnels with emails and automations and all the things in place. But I am an exception. That is my job. It is my métier. It's my thing. It is not your thing. It is not your thing. So you should not be able to build a funnel in a weekend. You should not be focusing like that. You should not have the history behind you to know how to build a funnel in a weekend. Okay? What I'm saying is you are a coach. So you're not a funnel builder. All right? If you've gotten so much experience in building funnels, I am so sorry for you because you are a coach, not a funnel builder. It means you've been doing all this hard work yourself, okay? And the mentality that brought you to the place of being a funnel builder is the mentality that might keep you there. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to move back into the space where you belong, which is being a coach, helping people, and being at the center of what it is that you are excellent at. I'm an excellent funnel builder. Let me build your funnels. I'm an excellent strategist. Let me build your strategies. Let me help you. I haven't even gotten on track to what I'm going to be saying, but I just want to say this one other thing. When you choose to work with a coach or a mentor, that is you making a decision to not do it alone and to not take on all the things, reinventing the wheel. That is what so many coaches today do. They are reinventing the wheel. They are doing it by themselves, and they're going out and they're trying to do it like, without having to invest in a coach or a mentor. Don't do that. Don't, because it's taking you away. It's taking you on a different path. It's taking you down a different trajectory. It's taking you over there, and where you really want to be is going over here. So welcome to the Spiritual Business Hour with Crystal Lynn Bell. I'm Crystal Lynn, and I come here Monday through Friday, and I talk to you about 40 minutes. I didn't know, I just started this program 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago. Almost 8 weeks ago. 8 weeks ago. I started this 8 weeks ago. And I thought that I was going to be like, I have to go live every day. I'm only going to come and talk for like 10, 20 minutes. But it turns out I have a lot of experience. I have been doing this work. I've been an entrepreneur working for myself, fully supporting myself since 2007. And so that's almost 20 years of self-sufficiency, generating income, generating clients, generating business. And in those years, I've learned quite a bit. So I guess I have more to say than I thought I was going to have to say. And, I know that other marketers, they'd be like, oh, you shouldn't talk for more than 20 minutes. People aren't going to listen. But I'll tell you something. People may only listen to 1 minute or 3 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes. It doesn't really matter to me because I am here to say what I have to say. And I strongly believe that that's a good operating system. That's a great system to work naturally. And, every day I sit down and I prepare what I want to present to you. I think it through so that when I tell you something, it has incredible value because it is thought through. I'm not just here rambling, just saying things. That's not, for me, that is not the quality that I want to bring to you and I don't want to bring that to my brand. I want my brand to be about curated ideas, deep thinking ideas, and things that actually matter for the people who hear them. That's what I'm here to do. So yeah, welcome to the Spiritual Business Hour, my friend. Um, Announcement. August 28th, 29th, and 30th, I am holding the Liberated Coach Retreat. It is $197 to attend, but you can get full admission for just $97. What are we doing during the Liberated Coach Retreat? We are building the infrastructure for your business. Now, when I say that, I do not mean that we are going to learn how to build funnels, learn how to build websites. No, what we are going to do is take your vision and we are going to plan it out. There are 5 steps that we are going to go through. It is my method, all right? It is my personal method. It is the method that I used to build my 6-figure business, and I'm going to be taking you through that. So I want to invite you. Zaina, will you please drop the link in the comments for the retreat? And I see that Queen Bee Healing After 50 is here. Hi, Queen Bee. Hello from California. Thanks for joining, and thank you so much for saying hello. So today, what we're talking about is coaches building their own businesses and building the structures for their own businesses. Now, I want to be very clear. You are a new coach. You're going to have to build things yourself, without a doubt. But I don't want you building things on your own without getting some good feedback from somebody who has actually done this before and actually succeeded at it. Too many coaches are building on their own, using a strategy that they got from here and a strategy that they got from there, and they're copying what they see somebody else doing, and they're imitating somebody else, and they aren't getting the full picture, and that is not effective. So I want to encourage you to learn with someone that you can trust. I want to earn your trust, so I'm coming here every day to the Spiritual Business Hour, and I'm showing you what my values are. I'm telling you what I've learned so that you can understand and see if I am a coach or mentor that you want to work with. I consider myself to be a spiritual business mentor, but that's a new moniker for me. I started off as a coach. Well, honestly, I started off as a massage therapist, and then I became a Reiki master, and then I moved into coaching in 2011. So I've been coaching for 15 years. I'm a business mentor now because I have chosen to really embrace the fact that I love helping women work in their businesses, create their businesses from the ground up. I love helping women develop strategies. I love helping you with your branding. I love helping you with your systems, with your infrastructure. I have a team. I have a team, badass team. Zaina is here with me right now. She is my live stream producer and she's badass. And then I've got Rebecca and we've got Bustani and we've got Zainab and I've got a whole team of people behind the scenes helping me so that I can be effective and I can help you. So the reason that most coaches are stuck right now feeling like, why can't I get clients? It's not like they've never sat down and, understood what their business needs. It's just that they've been working on things in kind of this sporadic way and haphazard. Following the shiny object is one part of the issue, but also just understanding that there are very few places that give you the whole picture of what you need for your coaching business. So you're getting something from these people and they give you something nice, but it's not able to compound. You're not able to grow it and grow roots because it's not part of a bigger picture. I learned that the hard way when I first started out coaching. I worked for 7 years following all these people who would give me one piece of the system, but nobody ever gave me the whole system. After 7 years, I had figured out the whole system. And then I put that together into what I call my badass butterfly 5 pathways, 6-figure business framework. It is really, really effective. And that is where I'm coming from with you today. Because as a coach, yes, there are things that you need to do now so that you can start bringing in money. Okay. And that's what I want to talk to you about right now. It's more of a shorter term goal so that you can uh, get something going because you're a coach and you don't want to wait the whole like 2 years or 1 year before you can actually start seeing your first client. No, you don't want to do that. But you also don't want to get into this habit of, okay, well, I just want to get some clients in, so I'm going to do this. And then you get those clients in, you realize that's not enough. So then you just want to get some more clients in. So you do that. And you do some things to, you finally get some clients in and you're like, oh, I got to get some more clients though, because now those first clients are done. What am I going to do now? It's like it becomes this vicious cycle. And I've lived that, okay, during those first 7 years. Everything that I'm talking about from experience. But what you need to be doing is understanding a bigger picture. Okay, there's a bigger picture, and you need to be working within that big picture while you're doing those things to get some clients now. You do that, but you want to do it in a way where you can actually lay some foundations that can compound. That's what we're going to be talking about today, and that's what this sprint is all about. I like 90 days, okay? It's not that it's 90 days is a magic number, although it is kind of a magic number, isn't it? 90 days is a magic number. But the reason I really like 90 days is because it's something that you can actually focus on in your business. It's just long enough for you to get a whole bunch of stuff done and to see a win. And then that gives you another, you can take another 90 days to simply nurture what you have just created. And I like that a lot. As a matter of fact, that is the way that I work. I like to work during the summer. I'm busy with a lot of structural things. Always during the summer, I'm doing a lot of growth things for my structures. Like I hosted a summit. I'm doing a challenge. I'm doing a retreat. Those are structural things. Setting up the funnels, setting up the nurturing sequences. All those things are very much important architecture for what is live now, but will become evergreen when it's all done. Then what I'm going to do during the autumn is I'm going to be bringing energy back into those now evergreen funnels. And my work will not be about building structures, it will be about enjoying relationships. I get to network, I get to talk to people. And then when they say, hey, Crystal Lynn, how can I work with you? I'll say, hey, why don't you do this masterclass? Or why don't you watch some of the replays from this funnel, or, and this challenge that I've done. So that's personally how I work. It works really well. But let's talk about the 90-day business architecture sprint, which is our program topic for today. So phase one, you're going to spend 2 weeks doing this. This is an architecture audit. So before we build anything, we really want to have an honest picture of where we are and like what's there, what's missing, what's halfway there, What is, what are we afraid of? What are we afraid to have to build? So many coaches will skip this phase because it really requires sitting down and like choosing to look at your business with honesty and clarity rather than comfort and rather than just, oh, let me just go in there and hustle, right? Sometimes we hide in the hustle. Hustling makes us feel like we're doing something important so that we don't have to feel what actually needs to be done, right? So we want to take this time to understand what is like half built, what's missing, what should be there, and what needs to be refined. I like for the audit to cover 5 areas. So you want to have clarity around your offer. So you want to make sure that it's clear, that it's defined. People understand what it is. Okay. You want to make sure that whatever is missing, you want to make sure that you get it. All right. You want to make sure your methodology is there and that again, people understand what it is. The next thing you're going to want to look at for this audit is your messaging. Do you have a clear, specific value proposition that makes your people feel seen and heard? And again, part of your value proposition is your messaging. So making sure that it's understandable and that it's clear. Let me tell you something. This part, if if you have this right, if you have your value proposition right, you will be able to move through not just the next 90 days with ease, but the next year, the next 3 years will be so much easier than if you skip the value proposition. So please don't leave that out, right? Now, the next thing you're going to want to evaluate is your content infrastructure. Do you actually have a content strategy built around your philosophy, around your methodology, and for sure, is it reaching the ideal client? The next thing, of course, is that client attraction system. Do you have a defined functional pathway for that first contact with your enrolled client? If somebody wants to work with you, how are you going to get them to work with you? Where are you going to send them? You need to be able to have that really clear and ready for your people. Again, keep in mind that this is an audit and it is not meant to make you feel bad. It is not meant to make you feel small. It is to help you have clarity because once you know what needs to be done, then you can go out and do it. I think I told you, you know what? I think I left out the very last thing or the very first thing, which is your ideal client. You want to be very, very clear about who your ideal client is. All right. Now, phase 2, this is weeks 3 and 4. This is where you are going to be like you're prioritizing the most important things. All right. This is about understanding what is the most important thing. Now, I'm going to pause right here and say that planning may feel like your enemy, but planning can actually become your best friend. I sit down and I try to make it fun. When I'm doing my planning work, I put on some music, I make some tea, and when I'm done, I have a glass of wine. All right. So I like working in Canva. I use Canva whiteboards. I also like working with I like working with pen and paper, colored pens and colored paper and little cards. I have uh, a cork board. I actually invested in these aren't cork boards, they are like felt boards. They're really high quality. I found them on Amazon. They're beautiful. I have to show you them. If you're interested, let me know in the comments if you're interested, and I'll give you the link for them, but they're gorgeous. And I just put them on the wall. I have a whole wall of these cork boards, and I can put up, I bought some pretty tacks, of course. And so I just put up my plan so I can kind of have a visual that's tangible. I like to touch things. So I can put those things up on my cork board, but I also like Canva because I like to be able to just type things and to be able to move things around. So I use a whiteboard on Canva. So for me, the planning process is fun. It has some gadgets in it. I like gadgets, but it also has some tangibles. I like paper. I like cutting things out. I like making shapes. I like stickers. I like glitter. I'm just going to be honest with you. This is how planning becomes fun for me. And here's the other thing. Planning does take time. So a lot of people tend to think that they should be only spending a few minutes or an hour on their planning. For me, planning, for example, planning a launch plan for me is multifaceted. You may or may not be at that level. If you're more advanced of a coach like I am, or a mentor like I am, and you've been doing this for years, you know what I'm talking about when I talk about a launch plan. So planning with the summit, planning the challenge, planning the master classes, laying that all out. I love doing that. Okay. But doing that takes time. It's sensual. You need to be able to think and let your spirit guides come in. I like to use my tarot cards. I like to use color therapy. I like to use astrology. So for me, the planning process is not mundane. It's not hard. It's not a grind. It's a sensual, fun, playful experience where I'm engaging with my divine genius and we're writing it out. I would like for you to have that kind of an experience too. I think that that's the approach you should take. Don't try to rush this. Just spend time listening and letting God work through you so that you can actually hear. And don't be afraid if it took you 8 hours to plan your launch. Good for you. You gave your launch, your baby, the time that it deserves. Okay. So again, this is a sprint, right? Okay, so let me say that also. The difference right now is that I am talking about a sprint, not the long-term planning for your business. This is a 90-day sprint. So you may not be in 90 days, you're not going to actually plan out. You're not going to do a full launch plan in 90 days. No, don't worry about that. This is more about getting started and getting your business like energized and getting your business to a place where it is ready to receive people in a good way that makes you feel confident so that you're not super scattered. Okay, so that's what this is about. And so this is a little bit different than what I would normally do with people. Like in my container, we spend more time, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. All right. So weeks 3 and 4, this is where you're prioritizing. All right. This is the mistake most coaches make when they are getting started. They kind of put everything on the list and then they try to do it all. And then they just end up again scattered, incomplete building, and a lot of pressure and a lot of like energy, and then overwhelm. All right. I totally understand. I relate because I did it, but I'm also telling you what I do now so that you don't have to do that. So the priority decision is for the most important decisions around for your sprint. Now, I want you to answer just one question with absolute honesty. One question. All right. Which single element, and we're talking about structure, which single element, if it were complete, would have the greatest positive downstream impact on everything else I build in the business? Okay, I'm going to repeat that question for you again, if I can get the words right. Which single, uh, it's a structural thing, which single structural thing would give me the greatest and the easiest impact in my business? I said that badly. Hold on. Let me regroup. Which single element would have the greatest positive impact on everything else in my business. And let me give you some examples of what it is so that you understand the question more. It's normally one of three things. So if you're a coach and you have no clients or you have inconsistent clients, all right, be honest. It's okay to not have clients. It's okay to have inconsistent clients. You've never done this before or you didn't know how to do it right. It's okay. It's perfectly fine. I've been there. Okay. So if I've been there, that means it's okay. So if you've got inconsistent clients, it's almost always because there's fog around your messaging and your offer. Okay. So the offer may not be clear in your head. It may not be clear. It's definitely not clear in the heads of the people outside of yourself. And this is hard because you created the offer, so it's super clear to you. This is what is the hardest to help my students understand. It's clear to you. It ain't so clear to the people who are watching you, the people who are following you. Okay. So I want you to understand that the offer needs to be really, really clear. And that might be one of the things that you need to be working on and making a priority. Okay. Now, for the coach who has clients, but no consistent way of drawing in more, it's usually the client attraction system. So this might be the thing that you need to focus on for your 90-day sprint. Okay. So if you have no clients and you're like, it feels like crickets, client attraction system could be for you, or messaging around your offer. All right. Now, if you're a coach who actually has clients and you have a system for finding them, but the operational demands of running your business is the problem, then it's an infrastructure issue. All right. So it's either a messaging issue or it's a visibility issue, or not a visibility issue. It's not visibility. It's client attraction, magnetism issue, or it's an infrastructure issue. And even infrastructure, I would say team. Probably if you're a coach and you've got a lot of things that are working well for you, then you need a team. I've got a client who's like that. She's wonderful. She's wonderfully magnetic. Everybody loves her. She's so full with her schedule, but she needs a team to do all the stuff so that she can stop doing all the stuff so she can go be with the people who want to be with her. And she leaves the team. We are her team. Me and my team, we are her team. All right. So my advice for you is to build that thing and get that first thing done. So if it's client attraction, then build that first. Okay. If it's working on your messaging, then build on that. So that's the next 2-week phase. So weeks 1 and 2 were about the audit. Weeks 3 and 4 are about making that one decision and getting that up and running, doing whatever you need to do for that particular thing. Okay. All right. Now, phase 3 weeks. Now this is going to be a long one. Phase 3 is 6 weeks. So you're going to go weeks 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. So it's a 6-week thing. This is where you're in the core of the work for this 90-day sprint. It's a period of focused, protected, sequential building where the priority structural elements that we talked about are going to get constructed. So what you discovered in your audit, you're going to focus for 6 weeks on those things. All right. The rules of this phase are not something you want to mess around with. Okay. It's one priority at a time. You don't start something new until the first one is complete. You're just going to do this for 6 weeks. Number one, it's going to train your muscle to stay focused. All right. And I want to make it clear, you're working on multiple things, but you're working on them one thing at a time. Okay, so during this period, you're going to do a bunch of things, but you're going to do them one at a time, not oh, I'm going to start this and do that and do this and do that. No, you're not. You're going to do them like one thing at a time. By the way, this is one of the ways that I work with people. If you need help with this 90-day sprint, if you want to sit down with me and we do your audit together or we strategize together, we can totally do that. I have a program that takes you through this in 6 weeks. It's really lovely. It's a great experience. So ask me about it. If you're interested, just drop a note in the comments and I'll reach out. I'll send you a message, or you can send me a message and ask about my 90 days. It's 90 days. But anyway, it's customized, so sometimes we can actually just do the 6 weeks, or we can do the whole 90 days. Anyway, leave a message for me and we'll talk about that. All right, so what I want you to understand during this 6 week period is that every week you're going to start with a clear statement of specifically what you are going to do. You want clarity at the beginning and clarity at the end. And every week begins with clarity and every week ends with a celebration. I'll be posting about my celebration Fridays. And it doesn't have to be a big fancy celebration, but every Friday I sit down and I celebrate what I did that week and I name it off. My family thinks I'm crazy because they get a lot done too. They do their things, but I'm the only one who be celebrating. But I feel good about what I got done. I hired this person and found, I wrote this chapter and I finished that funnel and I got this blah, 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 and all blah, 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 blah. I write it all down and then I actually sit down and have a glass of champagne, or I have a glass of wine, or I might have a special dinner, but it's a celebration and it feels like it and you deserve it. All right. So I think that for you, you need to think about what specific elements you want to build. Make sure that you make a list of them. This is what the audit is for. This is what the planning is for. And then this is why during this 6 weeks, you start to really know what you're doing. There's a lot of distillation that happens within you during this time. And I find that to be really, really powerful. All right, so let's go into phase 4. So this is going to be weeks 11 and 12. So this is the time when you are doing the integration and launch. These are the final 2 weeks of the sprint. And this is not about like just building new things. This is where you're going to be completing what you accomplished, or what you started over the last 10 weeks, but it's also going to be about making sure that everything is functioning and flowing together. You're going to be taking some very public action during this time. You're going to be talking about what you're doing. You're going to be putting yourself out there, or putting out whatever it is that you've created. You're going to be sharing it. All right. Now, here's the thing I want you to understand. With the sprint, you're not trying to get things necessarily 100% done. This was something that I learned, just, it's not that I learned it the hard way, it's just that it took me a while to understand. So let me use a launch for an example. So I, would invest a lot of money, $20,000 with a coach or a mentor who would help me launch. And they would give me all these things to do. They would say, okay, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. They give me a list of like, I don't know, 100 things that I'd have to do. And I would set out and try to do that 100 things. And the thing that they didn't tell me, which I don't want you to do, because I shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have told me to try to do 100 things. They should have told me to try to get, 60% of what they told me done. And then the next time I ran the launch, I would run the same launch and then layer in another 10%. So now the launch would be functioning at 70%. And then the next time I ran it, layer in another 10 or 20%. Then I'm functioning at 80 or 90%. And then the next time you run it, then you're going to have the thing functioning at 100%. And that's what I want you to understand. Right now, you've just done a sprint for these for this 90 days. And whatever you're setting out to build, understand that you don't need to do 100% of it and make it perfect. Like let's say you're creating an automation or let's say you're creating an email and you write it out and you set up the whole series of emails. So you put together the 5 emails and then you realize that you could have said this, you could have added this in, right? Okay, you could go back in and add that in, to all the emails, or you could save that for the next time you do the run. Okay. So my point is you're not going to always get things perfect. You want to get things at least to 80%. And then later when they come back around, because they will come back around, you can then be like, I think I'm going to go through this time. We're going to do it. And I'm going to add that in. And you will have learned so much more. So you kind of maybe revamp all those emails so that they're up to date with everything that you've even learned. All right. So I think that's important to understand. Don't try to do everything at 100%. Just make sure you get it to a level of doneness where it's launchable and you can start working with it. And then you can move, you can catch on more in the next phase, the next run around. Now, integration is really important. And what I mean by that, I want you to make sure that the elements that you've built during the sprint are actually connected to one another. So your offer and your messaging are aligned. They're pointing to the same direction. There have been times when people have worked on or tried to work on their offers, they try to put the cart before the horse. So they try to create their messaging before they know what their offer is. And then they realize that they have to build that offer, then they have to adjust their messaging. I say start with the offer and then do the messaging. But either way, you want to make sure that they are aligned. And you want your content strategy to be aligned with the offer and the messaging as well. You don't want to be over here talking about midlife crisis when actually um, your your ideal client is more focused on uh, whatever. My mind's not working on that, whatever, but they're working on something else. Okay. So you want to make sure that the client attraction pathway is actually going somewhere. You want to make sure that your operational systems are actually functioning. So there is a lot of testing that you're going to be doing during these last 2 weeks. And, again, this last 2 weeks is about going public, regardless of whether you're ready or not. I am notorious for putting things out and letting things not be wrong. It's not like they're badly wrong. It's just that there might be some errors in them. And I don't think that anybody has ever judged me. Yeah, sure, they've been like, oh, this link doesn't work. That link doesn't work. But okay, fix it. All right. Don't get emotionally attached to your mistakes and let yourself be stopped from moving forward. All right. So activating, what you've built is really important. Put it in front of the people. That's what you're doing during this phase. All right. So my friends, that is the 90-day business architecture sprint. And it's a way of getting some good things done in your business and then feeling good. At the end of 90 days, you feel like you've done something and you've got something that's measurable. You can identify it. And I think that's important for you. I think it's important for you because you're a coach, you're a solopreneur, you're doing this stuff by yourself. You don't get a lot of validation from the world because the world doesn't understand the experience of the solopreneur unless they are a solopreneur. If you were to tell me, hey, Crystal Lynn, I did this thing in my business, I would be like, I get you. I see you. I know the blood, sweat, and tears you poured into that. I see that. But if you say that to your mom, she'll be like, "Oh, honey, that's good. Good for you. Nice, honey. Nice job." But she doesn't get it. All right, my friends. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I want to thank you for joining me today. Please leave a comment. Please. Oh, my friend is here. Hi, Jennifer. Good to see you. Um, Thanks for watching. Uh, yeah, enjoy this process. Remember the Liberated Coach Retreat. I would love to see you there. We're going to be doing strategy. We're going to be doing strategy during the retreat. I'm going to take you through, it's not going to be a sprint, but it's a similar kind of concept in that I'm going to give you a plan that you can actually work through over 90 days. And there's a lot of this sprint mentality in there, but it's going to be way more specific because we're going to be workshopping it with you together. That's why I want you to come to the retreat. All right. Zaina will put the link in there for you. All right, my friends, thanks for watching. I'm going to sign off. Bye for now.